Right here we have an old school switch. Let's change this out. What's up YouTube, it's your boy Tech It Up back at it again with another video. It's been a while since I uploaded. That clip that you saw in the beginning of this video is actually a combination of some smart light switches, a presence sensor, and some Alexa routines that I combined together to do some automation, such as knowing when I'm in the room and when I'm not in the room. This is different from a motion sensor, and I really like the capabilities of some of these smart switches. In my last video, I know it's been some time, but I'm finally in my new house, and one of the first smart additions that I told you all that I would add to the house is making my dumb light switches smart. I've also done some other projects such as revamping my garage in the house. You can see a picture here. If you all want to see more of this content and more behind the scenes, definitely check out my new Instagram page at official Tech It Up. I'm also following everybody back, so if you follow me, I will follow you back. So spam that Instagram page so that I can start uploading more content to it. Let's discuss what we have here. So in today's video, we are going to be installing the TP-Link Kasa smart light switch, which is a way more affordable option and an easier installation process. So here we have three types of Kasa light switches. We have a single pole one. Single pole, that's when you have one light switch that controls one light. We have a three-way kit. That's when you have two light switches that control one light, so three-way kit. Then we also have some motion activated single pole switches. This is not gonna be installed in this video, but if you all want to see that video, let me know down in the comment box. I'm gonna put these in my bathroom. So let's move it out the way. So the single pole switch, really straightforward. Here's the switch right here. See, it's just your normal clicker. This does work without smart features, so if your Wi-Fi is down, you can still manually press this. I'm gonna touch on this at the end of the video. Then you have a reset and restart button. So let's say you need to connect to a new Wi-Fi network, or you change your Wi-Fi network name, you can reset it. Or maybe you're just having some issues, you can reset it, but you should probably start restarting it first. I will say in the past couple weeks of me using these, I haven't had any issues whatsoever. But for the single pole switch, we have 4 different wires coming out the back. We have our line load. These are interchangeable. So line is coming directly from your power source, and then load, that's the wire that's going directly to the light that you are trying to control. With other switches, you do have to be able to decipher which one is which, like test which one has active power. With this switch, as long as you have those 2 line and load wires and you know what those are, you can put them on either one of these 2. So that makes the installation process a lot easier. Now your ground wire, that's typically the copper wire that you see in the back of your junction box. The kit does come with these wire nuts. So basically what you'll do is you'll combine the ground wire from the junction box with this one and this wire nut. Then your neutral wire, those are the white wires that are typically tucked in the back of the junction box. Older homes may not have these, but there are smart light options for those that don't have neutral wires, but most people are. All right, so single pole installation, super easy. Three-way kit, three-way switch. This one's a little more difficult, but once you get it down, you'll be moving super smoothly. So similar to the single pole switch, we have our ground and our neutral, same ordeal. Now for this one, the difference is that because it's 2 light switches controlling one, we have to factor in the travel wires. So the travel wires are the hot wires that run to the other switch, and this is how the switches communicate on if the light that they're powering is on or not, right? So these are typically red and black and they're bundled together. One way to test if it's a traveler cord is if the power is on, taking a meter and testing if it's hot. So if there's active power going on. I will show you how I identified my two traveler ports in the video, but typically they're bundled together because they're running to the light together. Then we have this black input right here. This is the line load, otherwise known as the common wire on your existing switch. Typically on switches, you'll see it spelled out common wire, but this is the load. This is going to the light. So you'll need to plug this up as well. So that's how you operate with the three-way switch. I will show you all in the video. Also in the box comes with the faceplate. I'm not gonna be using any of these because they're singular faceplates, and two, I'm not gonna be changing out all of my light switches. So I'm gonna use my existing light switch panels, which these work directly with. It's an exact perfect fit, same dimensions as regular light switches if you have this kind. All right, so what we'll do next is walk you all through the installation, and I hope you all enjoy. Before we cut off power, I do want to show you all what we're working with. So as you can see, I have this control center of light switches right here. I'm gonna be changing out this one, which is a single pole light switch, which controls these ceiling lights right here. Obviously changing those to smart lights would be extremely painful and expensive because I would need a ladder that could get me up there. So easy way out, it's just changing this out. All right, so we're gonna be changing this single pole. That light is only controlled here. Then we're gonna be changing this one out, which is a three-way. This is gonna be the kitchen ceiling lights. And then we're gonna be changing this out as well, which this is also a single pole, which is gonna be the lights over the kitchen counter. And as you can see, for these lights right here, if I go over to the other side of the kitchen, I can easily turn them off from here. The presence sensor is gonna go behind that TV so that it can see all of the living room, the kitchen, and the dining room. So that will control that light as well. So I gotta change out that switch right there. And then a presence sensor will also be able to determine if I'm near my cabinets, and then that will automatically engage the under the cabinet lights. And I'll be showing you the cabinet lights in another video. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and cut power off so that we can get these light switches installed, and I will walk all of you through it. All right, so we have power cut off. So what we're gonna do next is take off this faceplate. Again, this is my three-way switch, and then this is my two-way or single pole switch for the lights over the cabinet and then kitchen ceiling lights. We got this panel off, so we're gonna take this one off as well. Here's where the drill comes in handy. So typically I install these one at a time, and sometimes you can't do that. And hopefully we don't have to go through that use case. But sometimes you can't do that and you just have to take them all out at the same time, depending on how when your home was constructed, how they tuck the wires. So I decided to take the single pole light switch off too, just so it makes things easier. Make sure you all can see. So this is the three-way switch. So we have line, but then we also have a traveler, two traveler cables. So the traveler cable is typically bundled together. So that's how you know it's a traveler. And one way to test that is to see if it's hot. I know that these are the traveler cables for sure, just because one, they're bundled together and I know that they're hot if the power was on. And then your load cable, which is going up to the light, is typically by itself. And then your ground, that's gonna be the copper wire. So we're just gonna wire those together. And then your neutral is typically gonna be bundled in the back as the white wires, which you can see right there. All right, and then For a single pole, it's a lot more straightforward. You know that your load cable is typically, once again, you can see it running up to the ceiling by itself. And then our line cable is bundled up right there. That's the power coming straight from the breaker. And then multiple of these switches are running into that. So that's why you can see it's bundled up, all right? So for the single pole, it really doesn't matter, because if I get one of the single pole switches, you just simply take one black cable, connect it to the line of the load, then you take the other black cable, connect it to the line of the load, and then green goes to ground, and then your neutral goes here, all right? But for the three-way, it's a little different, right? So our neutral is gonna go right there, and then our ground, copper. But then as you can see, for the three-way switch, we have two traveler ports and then one line load. So basically, this red wire and this black wire that are together, these are both hot, gonna go right here and right here, right? And then this wire, the load, going up to the light, is gonna go here. We are going to do the single pole light switch first. All right, so remove that. Now we have our line. So what I'm gonna do is get one of these that comes in the box, and then simply put it on this switch right here. Take the panel off. All right. So here's our line, and we know that because it's bundled up right here. And again, you could test which one it is, which one is your line, by simply turning the power on and testing which one is hot. I'll link what a good tool is to use in the description box. Again, if you're uncomfortable doing this, please hire an electrician just to be safe. I have a degree in electrical engineering, but I am not a licensed electrician. If you're on the more cautious side, follow your gut and be cautious. That is what I will recommend, all right? All right, so next we'll do this one. And again, I'm using everything that came inside of the box. One good tip to make sure you have a good connection is when the wires start turning with each other, right? So like this one, this is bad. So this one needs a little bit more loving. Just get in there, all right? All right, now all we have left is our ground and neutral. I'm not gonna do those just yet. We're gonna get this one unhooked. I just wanna curve this a little bit. All right, so now we got that little curve, made it easy to loop that in. And then we'll do the same thing for the other traveler cable. All right, so we got that fully in there, curved around the screw. Don't get lazy here. Make sure everything is secure and ready to go. Then we'll take this common wire, i.e. our load, which on the light switch, it'll actually be labeled common. I don't know if you all can see that, but it's labeled common. All right. And that will go right here. Screw it in. Again, it's so much easier for the single pole. Single pole is really straightforward, really can't mess it up, but this three-way, that's the one you want to pay attention to. Remember, traveler cables, hot wires, low cable, that's going straight to the light. Or it's labeled common on your light switch, which, let me take this ground off and I'll show you all exactly what I'm talking about. So if you look here, common. So that's where we put the load at. You can see it's marked with the black screw. So now that we have our common wire going to our line load, and then we have our two traveler wires, which are bundled together, what we'll do next is put the grounds together. So the green wire, let me straighten this out, and the copper wire. What we need is to get our neutrals, the two white, and loop it into the neutral, which is typically the white wire that you'll see back here, bundled all together. And then you'll take the existing cap off. And put those in that existing loop. And typically the caps that come, well, at least for mine, is big enough to support. Tuck everything back in there for a nice fit. So this one, single pole again. This is really easy. Then we have our ground. So now that we have all of the light switches installed, we'll turn power on just to test everything, and then we'll make everything look good. Just turn power on. Everything looks good. You can see these are flashing. That's because they're not connected to Wi-Fi. So if I turn that on, it turns that light on. And yeah, everything is working. So what we'll do next is make everything look good. And then what I'll do from there is walk you all through the app setup. So you want to play with it until you get the perfect match. So that looks good to me. Take this plastic off. Something you want to take note of before you put the faceplate over, you can either set up the app before you put the faceplate over, or you can take a picture of it just for your reference later, because there's an identifier for this light switch here. So you want to know that, and that's on every light switch. So I'm just going to take 2 pictures of that, and then we'll continue with installing this. So to me, that looks good. All right, now that we're gonna set up the app, you're gonna go to the Play Store or the App Store on your iPhone, Play Store if you have Android, obviously, and you're gonna download Kasa Smart. Obviously, I already have it installed on my phone. Once you make your account, simple steps, create an email, create a password. So your view should look similar to mine, except you probably won't have any switches set up yet. But from here, what you'll do is you'll hit the plus sign, hit device, smart switches. The first one we're gonna do is a 3-way switch. Yes, I already set up, orange and green. Those are the lights that you saw earlier. And if you don't see them, you'll simply you'll reset it, which is the button on the left at the bottom. All right, it is orange and green. So then what we'll do next is go to settings, give it some time. There it goes. So this is that light switch that that smart light switch that we set up earlier. And again, I took a picture of the light switches so I know which one belongs to which. So this one is going to be our kitchen lights. So now that we're set up to that Wi-Fi connection, what we'll do is connect it to my home Wi-Fi.
I found TP-Link_HS210_1 from the TP-Link Kasa skill, and you can control it by saying, turn off TP-Link_HS210_1.
Thank you. You're the best. So what I'll do next is simply name this light. And then save it as a smart switch, custom, kitchen. This is the room that it's in. All right. And it'll do the updates for you. And then you do the same thing for all the light switches. More than likely, you're gonna have to update all of them. So then what we'll do next is install the presence sensor so that we can set up some automations with all the new light switches that we have set up. All right, so we have all the light switches installed that I wanna do for phase one. So we're gonna install this Akara presence sensor. I'm going to put it in the upper right corner of this TV here because that's the perfect angle for it to be able to see all the different zones. More on that later in this open living room concept, kitchen, whatever you want to call it. So it's pretty easy to install. You just need a power source. This is not a motion sensor, so unfortunately it can't go battery powered. All right. So now we have the sensor mounted. So now what we'll do is set up a zone for the kitchen area as well. If I go to the Kasa app, here are all the switches that we just set up. So we have the island light, we have the ceiling lights. Those are the ones that we're gonna be controlling. I also have this under the cabinet smart lighting that I will also link to the kitchen zone, but that's from Black & Decker. That's why you don't see that in this app. So what I would simply do, go to zone management, and so basically all of this, new zone, all of this is going to be the kitchen area. And then kitchen zone. And then just like that, when I save it.
I found kitchen zone from the Akara home skill. To set up a routine triggered by kitchen zone, go to the device detail page in the Alexa app.
That gets added to there. You can really get super tedious and have it to where there's a really small zone just for the cabinet lights. Just if you just want that to turn on only when you're close to the cabinets. I'll do that later, but what I'll do from here is before I go to Alexa, something that I didn't show you all earlier is how easy it is to link the Kasa app to Alexa. All you simply do is go to third-party services, Amazon Alexa, log into your account, and it will automatically link. And then as you install new switches, plugs, lights, etc., they'll automatically pop up just like you see on my end. We'll just go to Alexa, go to more, create a new routine, smart home. Sorry, go to smart home. And then this time we will go to kitchen zone, detected. When kitchen zone detects motion, Alexa will smart home, turn on certain switches. So we want the kitchen light ceiling, we want those on. We also want, actually go back to switches. We also want kitchen light island, turn on. And then we also want the cabinet lights to turn on as well. So then from here, we'll simply go to lights, cabinet lights. And then from there, we can save it. And then we'll do the reverse as well. When no motion is detected or no presence is detected, turn all of this off. Easy as 1, 2, 3. As you can see, I installed these light switches in most parts of my house. And for the past couple of weeks that I've been using them, like I said in the beginning of the video, I've had no issues with them, no outages, no restarts. My one complaint about these that I would say is that these are Wi-Fi based. You can't run them locally by default, but there is a workaround for that, which I'm going to address in another video. I'm going to be setting up Home Assistant, so more on that later. But overall, this is a very solid option, a lot more affordable than Lutron, and pretty easy to install. Now, if there's anything that you all want me to go into more detail on, especially for these 3-way switches, or maybe even setting up a 4-way switch, because I do have some of those in my house, let me know down in the comment box. You can pick these up from Amazon. I'm gonna have a link in the description, and I'll also include all the tools needed. But overall, I would say this is a solid 8 out of 10. The only reason I give it an 8 instead of a 10 is because you can't run them locally out of the box. I wish you could, but that is a part of the reason why they're cheaper. But there is like I said, there is a workaround for that, and I will touch on that. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and make sure you keep teching it up. Peace.